In this lesson, we're going to model the attachment for the wing. But before we do that, we're going to do a little bit of housekeeping. I'm going to grab this, this wing, and I'm going to delete history, and I'm going to go ahead and hide it. All right, the reason I'm going to hide it is I need to see what's happening here. Now, the problem is that I've got it set on X-ray, and I'm getting a little bit confused by the interior of this, by the interior polygons on the model. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to isolate. I'm going to grab these faces here, and I think about right there, everything inside of it. And basically, I'm double clicking. I'm going to the top and double clicking, and that's allowing me to set these faces up. I'll check X-ray to make sure I got it. Oh, nope, missed some. I'm going to need all of these, and I'll go ahead and give one more here. Okay, and then I'm going to go to show. Actually, now that I think about it, I'm going to need that back polygon too, like so, and I'm going to go to show. For now, I'm going to go to show, isolate, select, view selected, and that gives me just the polygon and that background face on this view, which is what I need. All right, so now once I've done that, I'm going to go ahead and bring up my outliner so that I can see that my wing right here. I can go ahead and turn that on, but I'm not going to see it here. I do want it in the front view, but I don't have it in the side view, so that's a good thing. All right, so I'm going to go to faces, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to build a wing attachment, but I want to go along the outside here. And to do that, I'm going to go to vertices, but I don't want to move this outside of, if I drag it straight down, I'm going to have a problem. So I'm going to use a different movement axis. So I'm going to hold down the W key and click, and I'm going to go to axis normal. This is a great way of moving things around the model without disrupting the face. I want to move that down until it's about right in the center. I'll do the same thing on this. I'll move this one down as well. I'll move that down because I want to go right down the center, just like the wing, those faces are in the wing. And this one I'll move over a little bit. I'll move this down, and this down, and this down, just a little bit. I'll move these. Okay, and as long as moving them in the V-axis, V direction, oops, missed, there. So I can do multiples as long as they'll move the way I want them to. All right, so I may have too many segments here, but that's okay. I can deal with that. All right, so what I'm going to do next is I'm going to switch to faces, and I'm going to grab these faces here, and I'm going to extrude. And I'm going to use the options box. I don't need this for now. And I'm going to change my offset and kind of shrink that down. Not until it doesn't have to be perfect, but I can get it fairly close, and I can get it even closer by holding down my control key and pulling that in. About right there is good. Okay. Now what that will do, I'll go to perspective view, is it's basically going to create this shape pretty much right where the wing is. And I'm going to pull it out, but not just yet. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go in, and now I'm going to try as hard as I can to make this shape like so. It's a little bit tedious. Actually, I did that wrong. What I'm going to do is do the opposite way. I'm going to go out to this outside shape. That's where I want it. The next one I extrude is going to go to the inside shape. Pulling it down like so. By the way, I can also use my arrow keys to change my selection. That's a great feature in my, I can step through my selection, step through the polygons, or not the vertices, by using the arrow keys and just pulling these points into position. That's going up. Then hit the left arrow. And that'll go up there. And one more. There we go. Now if I hit the 3 key, I can see I need to pull this out a little bit more. That's pretty close. Now the problem's going to come when we hit 1, and that's way out, way too far. So I'll pull this back in. Maybe pull this out a little bit more for now. Okay, so once I've got that squared away, I'm going to go back to faces. And I'll extrude again. Hold down my control key and adjust my offset. Whoop, too far. And I'll get it close. Now, some of the vertices will get tangled, especially at the end, this backside, and that's okay. We can deal with it. Go to vertex, W, pull that out, over. Now, the temptation is going to be to pull it along N. I don't want to do that. I want to pull it along V and U, because V and U go along the surface direction. Pulling it in N pulls it out the surface normal, and we don't want that just yet. All right, so this one, I'm going to pull it over and down, because I'm going to go something like so. Press the right arrow. Now, sometimes when they get real close to one another, they don't work as well. The arrow keys don't work as well. So once I get that lined up, okay. Okay, now the question is, should we extrude at this point? And the answer is not quite. We're actually not going to do that. We're not going to extrude anymore. What we're going to do instead is we'll wind up adding some edges. For what we're going to do. Okay, so now once I've got those roughly lined up, if I hit 3, it's pretty close. I'm going to go grab these faces again. Grab those faces there, and I'm going to go to my front view, and I'm going to pull these out. Now this I'm going to switch back to my world axis, and I'll pull these out until they get to be about right there, and then I'm going to scale them so that this is flattened out. And I can see I don't quite have, at least not top and bottom. And I'm going to scale them up until they match the wing relatively closely, and I might scale it back a little bit. Okay, and then once I've done that, now I'm ready to start on the actual, well, not quite yet. I'll go to the multi-cut tool, hold down my control key, click to add a line of edges. Now, if I got too close to the edge, I can scale this down as is, move it over so that I get that little curve here, a little fillet. Move it up a little bit. I can also go to my mesh tools and drop down to slide edge and middle mouse drag these edges until I get what I want. But it really is flat's good and whatnot, and we're pretty close to what we need. So next I'm going to grab these faces and I'm going to extrude again, and I'm going to do this all pretty much with my offset. Whoop, way too far. Okay. Because what I want to do is I want to pull these in. So I'll click here, pull these in, scale this down, and scale it down like so. And now I'll pull these vertices up. And I'll untangle these with something a little bit different. I'm going to grab all these vertices because they're so tangled up, and I'm going to go to Edit Mesh. I'm going to Average Vertices. I'll do it again. Okay, that's a nifty little modeling tool that we can use. I'll pull all these over. Pull these up. And now I think you can see kind of where we're going with creating this fillet, not the fillet, but this mortise, this slot, this peg, however you want to call it, because what we're going to do next is I'm going to extrude these back and then fence off those edges using the multi-cut tool. This one I can scale down a little bit. And now I'm going to extrude it back. At 4. And I can extrude it back however far I'm going to want this pin to work. Okay. And that's pretty much creating the attachment for the wing. What I'm going to do in the, what we'll do in the next video is we'll attach this. We'll finish off the wing using these polygons here. But what I'm going to do off camera is I'm going to fence this, I'm going to fence all this off so that it's a sharp edge. Basically, I'm going to use the multi-cut tool and insert edges. You can also use the insert edge loop tool for that. Anyway, that'll be in the next lesson.